Dance. Dance. You can see that look in my eye. Ain't gonna stop anytime soon. Roll up while I cry.
Here we go again. I mean, this is the truth show, and there's more. And there's more. I'm not done yet. I mean, this is the truth show. Please note that this is all alleged. I've never met any of these people. I've deeply researched all of my information. This is a trigger warning. In this video, I may be talking about or showing sensitive material about some subjects or topics that may be disturbing or upsetting or may bring forth some troubling memories, as you read in the description or title. With that said, either end the video now or brace yourself. Aside from that, enjoy. Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome to the Truth Show. I have a wonderful show for you guys. This intro here is an old intro. It's a combination of the Truth Show and KISHA'S Gossip. Let me just play it for you guys.
Dance. Dance. You can see that look in my eye. Ain't gonna stop anytime soon. Roll up while I cry.
Here we go again. I mean, this is the Truth Show, and there's more. I'm not done yet. I mean, this is the Truth Show. Yeah, I like that. That was one of my favorite intros. Yeah. I know, right? Let's get okay. You know how I feel about let's get it. But yeah, here you go. Let's get it. Anyway, moving right along here. Again, hello to my truth seekers. My name is Keisha and welcome to the Truth Show. In today's show, I will be talking about the usual. As you know, the usual. I'm not going to even get into information about that, but you guys already know the drift. You've been with me for a while here. All right, so let's get on with the show here. Okay, so we're going to start off, of course, politics, and y'all already know the layout of the show already. If you are a loyal truth seeker, Saeed, how you doing? Don't forget to share, you guys. Share. Okay. I'm trying to go live other places, but it is not working for whatever reason that is. It's telling me to go live with a camera. Show at least one camera source before going live. Okay. They want me to show at least one camera source. I don't want to show a camera source, but they don't want me to show a camera source. Anyway, let me just continue here. Okay, so with that said here, we're going to talk about Trump and his okay, thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. Okay. Just a second, you guys. I'm trying to do something right quick. Bear with me here. Okay, looks like I finally got it to working. Just shrink this up a little bit. Here we go. Okay, I think I got it working. All right, anyway, let me move on here. All right, so Definitely hear me. You guys can hear me out there, right? Y'all can definitely hear me out there, correct? Okay, I'm assuming you guys can hear me. All right, I don't know what happened, whatever. I have no idea what happened. It's just I tried to get live on TikTok, but you know my TikTok page is already messed up already, and then it just started messing up. It's as if I don't know. It's as if I clicked the hacker link or something, and everything just started fucking up. It was a hot freaking mess. A hot freaking mess. I'm gonna play the warnings again for those of you who are just now coming in. I'll make sure I put the timestamp. What is it? 15. What was the timestamp so I can make sure I put it in 15 or something like that. I put 15 like 45 for the timestamp starting in terms of this show starting, so you guys can just skip ahead and not having to deal with the issues. But I'm going to go ahead and play the warnings one more time just to get the legalities out of the way. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Thank you for staying out. But I have one heck of a show for you, so I'm going to make it up for you, okay?
Please note that this is all alleged. I've never met any of these people. I've deeply researched all of my information. This is a trigger warning. In this video, I may be talking about or showing sensitive material about some subjects or topics that may be disturbing or upsetting or may bring forth some troubling memories, as you read in the description or title. With that said, either end the video now or brace yourself. Aside from that, enjoy.
All right, fantastic. Okay, starting off the show here. Thank you. I'm glad you guys can hear me. I'm so sorry for technical difficulties. Okay, starting off the show here, it's going to be a single smooth kind of, okay, it's not going to be single smooth. I'm going to stop lying to you, seriously. But I just want to get into about Trump here. Trump and his little issues with Greenland. He's still obsessed with Greenland, apparently. The United States and Europe are locked in a growing crisis after President Trump sent a message to Norway's prime minister, saying he felt less obligated to think purely of peace after not receiving the Nobel Peace Prize. Because, you know, Trump has been trying to get the Nobel Peace Prize, and he feels that he should have this cockamamie prize. I don't know why he feels he should have this prize, but he's really adamant about this prize. He wants this prize. He said this prize is his, and he won it. This is what he said. He said, after not receiving the Nobel Peace Prize and then questioning Denmark's ownership of Greenland, I think he has like a childhood dream of Greenland. You know how they teach you Greenland and all this other stuff on the map? That's what, back in grade school or something? I think that's as far as his memory goes when it comes to education. So he's dead set on Greenland, even though we already have partnerships with Greenland already. And every other continent and country is very, very patient with this lunatic. So here's where I'm at with the understanding of this whole Greenland debacle with Donald Trump. Okay, it says Denmark ownership of Greenland while repeating that he wants the U.S. to take full control of the territory. Norway and Finland push back, saying they oppose U.S. terror, because he's saying if anyone who try to take over Greenland or try to stop him from taking over, he would just oppose high tariffs and stuff. You know, a bully. He's a bully. And then he attempted to take control of Greenland, but Trump's response escalated tensions instead of calming them. The White House insists Greenland is vital for U.S. national security, but many allies and members of Congress disagree, saying there is no immediate threat for Russia or China. That is not true, because Russia and China already have partnerships with Greenland. If Trump is over there trying to dominate Greenland, where only thing they have to do in terms of partnership of business, they have to go through Trump, and he's threatening anyone who's have any affiliation with Greenland on high tariffs. That includes his boy Putin in Russia and China, who he has been going back and forth with since he's been in the White House. There is tension, but they're lying in the media for him. They're not telling the truth, but there is tension. I don't know, nobody lying, but this is what, this article is saying. So European leaders are tired of trying to avoid conflict, which means they're trying to be patient with him. They're hoping our government do something about this shit, but our government is not doing anything. Our government is literally not doing anything. If they're waiting for our government to do something, they're going to be waiting forever because they have not done anything. And from what I gather, they're not going to do anything. They already cheated and manipulated their way into that big, beautiful bill, because when I was watching it live, it seems he was losing a vote, and out of the damn blue, Trump was like, I want that big, beautiful bill signed by 1:00 or something like that. And conveniently, those signatures that he needed by 1 or whatever time he said it was there. Rumor was they were fraudulent, which means he committed fraud with that Mike guy who's in charge of the whole thing. So those signatures weren't adequate and they wasn't authentic. He lied. So he did not really win the voting for the acceptance of the big, beautiful bill. But you know what? Whatever. No one fucking cares any goddamn way. So anyway. Okay, Ashley said Democrats have been bankrupting the country through their fraud and corrupt. Oh, gosh. Are we talking about the Democrats? Are you seriously? Ashley, honey, I think we need to have a little talk, sweetie. Because that is not true. Because of what Trump did last time, the government has shut down. It took Biden and fleet other people to get us out of debt. When Obama got into office after Bush just bankrupts us and threw us into a pointless freaking war, Obama had to get us out of debt. A Democrat. It's always Democrats getting the Republicans out of debt. And then the Republicans use the success story after Democrats done cleaned up their mess as their own success story. You might want to check your records, baby. And let me just make a political knowledge tip right here. First of all, the Republicans back then are Democrats now. There was a political party switch during the civil rights times, which means Republicans back then are Democrats now. I just want to point that out. So it was a political party switch. So we'll get into all that later. But I appreciate your comments. But you asked me, there's always some corruption, but don't blame it on Democrats. And I don't belong to a political party. I'm an independent, but I'm not going to sit here and just sit up here and say, okay, you're correct, because that's bullcrap. Stop believing Republicans, because we are in a Republican territory right now, and it's been nothing but chaos and havoc. There's discrimination. We spend, you know what? I'm going far ahead of myself. I get there in just a second. Okay, now, as I was saying about Trump and his craziness. Okay, European leaders are tired of trying to avoid conflict. Okay, they are now opening. I understand they want an open discussion with Trump. Good luck with that. Nothing will come of that. How can you discuss politics and business with an idiot? It's like trying to discuss, I don't know, common sense to a toddler. He don't know what you're talking about. He's an idiot. And I don't mean that to be cruel, but he really is an idiot. He's dumb. He's very dumb. I'm sorry. So no talking. I mean, do something else, okay? So they're openly trying to discuss before retaliation about the tariffs and the over $100 billion worth of American goods, or using powerful trade tools that targets U.S. services in Europe, which would hit major tech companies leaders from the UK, which means by him holding tariffs and imposing these threatening tariffs will affect UK, France, Sweden, Italy, and others who have criticized Trump, like, you doing this, you fucking up our stock too. But we're talking about Trump here. He don't care, okay? He's too busy spending our tax money, okay? So they've been criticizing Trump's approach, calling intimidation or blackmail, while warning that a trade war would hurt workers on both sides, which means it will literally off-balance every continent and every single country because of his threats with the tariffs. Dude, I am sick of the orange Cheeto too. You are not alone with that, Daddy, okay? Hi, Ashley. How you doing? Okay, anyway, let me continue here. Okay, so This is what they're saying. They said it's going to be a trade war on both sides of the ocean. Russia has added fuel to the fire by suggesting Trump could make history if he succeeds, even as NATO meets with Denmark and Greenland to discuss Arctic security. Oh my gosh. This article proves who is the originator of NATO. Because we were trying to figure out who is the originator of NATO. We know who the, not NATO, I'm sorry, I meant to say NATO. Who's the originator of this, Project 2025. Now we know who the originator is. The originator of Project 2025 was Russia informants, which I said in the beginning, because when I was reading it, it seemed like they were trying to dismantle our entire government system to run like Russia. Now we know. Look what Putin just said. And I'm reading this article live as we are, all I did is take a bit condensed of it, and ran it through an AI. I'm gonna be real with you. I took the link and just ran it through an AI and said, can you give me a brief summary of this article? Because I didn't have time to read this long ass fucking article. It was a really long article. Okay. And I had other news blogs I'd have to read. So we read this live together. Okay. But anyway, so now we know who the originator of Project 2025, which is Putin. Listen to this. And this is really important. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to this. Putin, this is what Putin said. I'm going to go back here. It says here, Russia has added fuel to the fire by suggesting Trump can make history if he succeeds, even as NATO meets with Denmark and Greenland to discuss Arctic security. So again, Putin still have his allies in the White House pulling the strings. Oh my gosh. European nations have sent small troops to Greenland for joint exercises, and the U.S. is also increasing its military presence throughout NORAD operations. Meanwhile, Denmark and Greenland kept repeating that they welcome some kind of cooperation, but that Greenland is not for sale. So they're saying it's not for sale. What are you talking about? We already have a partnership with Greenland. Why isn't anyone telling him this? Greenland's part of NATO, with Trump threatening to, impose these new tariffs on 8 European countries starting February 1st, unless they accept his Greenland plan, which they're not going to do, which means you probably end up going to war. Europe is preparing to stand united, defend its interests by all means necessary. So we might die. There will be a war. We might die. And use every tool available if the U.S. follows through. The stocks are also sliding down because of Trump and his tariffs. I was about to say tariffs, but I was going to say threats and tariffs at the same time. Stocks are literally sliding because of Trump's threatening tariffs. Because of his consistent threatenings of tariffs, stocks are sliding. Business is going crazy. The job market has plummeted. Inflation is ridiculous. To buy groceries is ridiculous. Trust me, I know. Okay? If we continue on this path, we will seriously jumpstart into a new Great Depression. He will literally bankrupt the entire country. And I'm not even done yet. Because everyone is worrying that we are going to go through another shutdown that will last longer than it did before. You know how many people had to file bankruptcy because of the last government shutdown? But everyone is afraid of Trump. They're enabling this man. Were they afraid of his size? Don't the Congress know they hold the key to get rid of him? They cannot be doing this pure on racism or to save their political party. This is starting to get out of control here. We are on the verge of a war. So because you guys are so adamant to save your party, which was not going to go anywhere if Kamala was president, if she was offering you guys at the table, you are trying to hold on to whatever past issues by any means necessary when you're going to send the whole world into war. UK is preparing for war. China is preparing for war. Shit. Japan is preparing for war. Greenland is now preparing for war. Russia is pulling the string because they already got homeboys in the White House already pulling Trump strings. They are one of the writers of Project 2025. This is starting to get freaking out of control. We getting bankrupt. I mean, it's crazy. Oh gosh. I'm not even gonna tell you how far bankrupt he is, man. I saw the numbers. They are so catastrophic. Woo. It did go through. All right, so let me keep moving here. Okay. Take a listen to this. Remember I told you about Great Depression? The reason why the Great Depression is coming up now, because a lot of psychics and intuition and whatever you want to call it are saying that we are on our way for another Great Depression. Yeah. He's going to bankrupt us. I mean, with these tariffs and these wars, because right now he's pissing off Iran. Okay. He's pissing off Greenland. He's pissing off China. He's pissing off the UK, which we were known as brother and sister. He's pissing off everybody. No one likes him. No one. Nada. Nathan. They're all preparing for war. And I'm not even lying. I talked about it several times in my politics segment. They're all preparing for war.
Norway's prime minister says President Trump sent him a text that says one reason for his push to acquire Greenland is that he didn't win the Nobel Peace Prize. So how is he connecting the two, and how are European allies responding?
Diane, this was an extraordinary message that was confirmed by the leader of Norway, who said that this all started because he and the president of Finland had sent a short text message to the president expressing their opposition to the tariffs that the president had threatened over the weekend. That 10% tariff on the countries that had sent that small contingent of troops to participate in military exercises in Greenland. In response, according to the prime minister of Norway, the president responded by saying this in a text: "Considering your country decided not to give me the Nobel Peace Prize for having stopped 8 wars plus, I no longer feel an obligation to think purely of peace, although it will always be predominant, but now can think about what is good and proper for the United States of America." Diane, the president ended that text by saying, "The world is not secure unless we have complete and total control of Greenland." He has made it very clear that he sees this as a national security issue for the United States. But this threat of tariffs is being met with very significant blowback from European allies. The British Prime Minister says that using tariffs to threaten and apply this pressure on allies is completely wrong. The French President Emmanuel Macron says it is unacceptable. And Diane, Sweden says they will not be blackmailed by the United States.
Just thought you guys needed confirmation from a professional from what I just stated. Now, she's going to talk about the Great Depression. Now, I've been receiving 2 different versions of the Great Depression. There's the Great Depression, whereas they didn't talk about the Negro people and how they reacted or how they were during the Great Depression. Some people on the historical narrative side stated that because they didn't care, so they didn't deem us as important. And then there's other people saying that we were slightly okay because we was already in dire stress, and we was already, limited means anyway, and treated like crap during the Great Depression. So us being affected by it didn't really have a huge effect on us. And we had no gold anyway. They stole it all. So I'm just going to point that out. But I'm here. I guess if you think about it, now that I'm talking about it out loud, I guess they were on the same side of the storyline and just on different ends of it, beginning and then end, like we weren't broadcast, but we turned out to be okay. So we can just call this young lady's the ending of the story of the other young lady who said that we didn't matter and it wasn't important. So I guess they were on the same storyline, just on different sides or different ends. Yeah. Anyway, this is what the Great Depression, the reason why it's coming up now, because we are about to go through it again. And we know how long that lasted, which means the banks would be bankrupt here in America. And we'd be fucking screwed. Yeah. Just because Republicans want to hold on to their power. They don't give a fuck about anybody else. They do know that they're going to be screwed too, but it don't matter. Take a listen. And I'm loving her necklace here. This crystal, that is a huge freaking crystal. It's gorgeous.
We're having their Great Depression. We were having our Renaissance, the Harlem Renaissance. Those 2 timelines ran concurrent at the same time. Not only that, though. So you know how, like, in America, in history, we were never really given anything. We were never given anything. And if we did get something of our own, they would take it from us, or they would find a way to destroy it. So during the Great during the Great Depression, white people had gold, like gold necklaces, gold rings, gold coins, whatever, right? And that was kind of like their wealth, because like it accrued wealth over time and value over time. The government forced all of them people to give them their gold. The government stole everybody's gold. Said they created an executive order, said give us your gold so that we can avoid gold hoarding and that it could back the reserves, so that the Great Depression that we're currently in doesn't last as long. Huh. Black people didn't have gold. We didn't have gold. So during this Great Depression, not only were they taking houses, they was taking gold. Neither one of these things affected the Black community as much as it affected the other communities. Because we didn't have shit. What do you mean? The funny part about this is, after the white people gave them their gold, say you had like a $5,000 gold certificate. By the time you gave it to the government, that next day, that gold certificate was now worth $10,000, and you're not seeing a cent of it because they only gave you $5,000 cash. That's it. That's it. The government robbed these niggas. And then imagine being a white person. Imagine being a white person. You look around at your fellow white counterparts, and y'all all broke, and then y'all look across the street, and Black people up, and they created chitlin circuits, lecture circuits. They over there educating each other, innovating, creating, inventing shit. They happy to the motherfucker. I mean, it makes sense why they would create something like the Zoot Suit riots, where they start fucking with us for no fucking reason. It would make so much sense why they would just literally start fucking with us. I'm not saying I agree, but I get why they some fucking haters. Like, imagine that. Imagine that. So to the person that actually triggered this topic, because I got a DM, yes, during the Great Depression, we were creating. This is when we got our footing as a community, because it was the early 20s, early 30s. We had only just got free 1860s, free in the 1860s. So you already know, like a lot of us, we were uneducated, we were poor. It's not like they took the chains off and gave us any type of help. We had to figure it out on our own. So we only a generation, 2 generations into like the free Black community. So of course we didn't have much. So during the Great Depression, we was already living in our Great Depression for like 400 years. So it didn't really affect us as much. Now granted, there was a free Black population. There was the bourgeois. So there was a part of the Black community that was affected by the Great Depression. But as for like the majority of us, that's why it was so easy for us to take that pain and turn it into dances, into songs, into hymns, quilts, poems, fucking books,
Move through some things. Oh, okay. It looks like it's back up again. I'm not doing this. I'm just going to try to move on. Okay, now again, because Congress can't agree on a short-term funding plan. So as I stated, the U.S. is in the process of going through another government shutdown because, and of course, in U.S. that's why I share my live show on my other channels, and then all of a sudden it just started messing up as soon as I shared it. So I am so sorry. I am not doing this. Just want to point that out. They are doing this, not me. I hope you guys understand that now. And then I see that my voice is buffering. That's them. They messed it up my show. That's them doing it, not me. So let me just say this, repeat what I said. Because Congress can't agree on short-term funding plan, because they can't agree on a short-term funding plan, that we may be on our way to another U.S. government shutdown, which is what I stated. And because of this political climate, because of this current political climate, the travel in terms of tourists and some countries, they don't feel safe coming to America. So our tourists and our travel has declined substantially. So a lot of people are not trying to travel to the U.S. anymore because they don't feel safe with this current political climate that we have going on here. Not to mention ICE is arresting and killing people at will with no repercussions. So we'll get into that whole little debacle a little later. And then we have Ukraine. Then we have Ukraine that is still dealing with freezing weather and blackouts in the middle of a war. So as the war continue, this making daily life extremely hard for families down there because people are still living down there even in the middle of this war. I would have been to move the country a long time ago. I would not continuously to stay in that country with this current political climate. I don't know how they're still staying down there, but they're still down there. With that said, here is another Epstein involving Trump. Take a look at this next clip, but not, I'm going to wait for that clip a minute. I want to go and talk about something else right quick. Okay, let's talk about ICE before I show you this clip. Now, it seems this article explains that this article right here, this article explains that Trump massive tax and spending bill has poured unprecedented money into immigration and customs enforcement, doubling Homeland Security budget and expanding ICE into a 20,000 officer national force, larger than the most police departments he's treated. I don't know what his problem is. I feel like we're in the middle of medieval times, seriously. And it's costing us billions and billions of dollars. We're paying for this with our tax money. I just want to point that out. And he's talking about pausing taxes too, because he needs the money to pay for these people. So this surge is funded, including $50,000 hiring bonus that we're paying for with our tax money. This surge is in funding, including $50,000, like I said, in hiring bonus and billions for detention centers. So we're paying for that too. It's enabling the administration push for record-breaking deportations, but they're not really deporting some of these people. They're trafficking some of these people, okay? Or they're killing them. I guess they feel that save money. So that goal is of 100,000 detentions a day. He wants to literally snatch the minimum of 100,000 people a day. That is 1 million deportations a year. Over 1 million, I'm sorry. While illegal border crossings have dropped to historical lows, at least that's what he says. Even though he's married to an immigrant, but I guess she's, exempt from this. Americans are now seeing aggressive ICE operation in major cities. So this is not a free immigration built kind of city anymore. We're not living in that country anymore. This is going to run like a government detention center, like China or something. It's not free. We're not free to self-express ourselves and live out a dream. No, we're going to be living in constant fear that ICE members who apparently don't have the credibility of a law enforcement officer, but I guess officers don't know their levels either. Think ICE people are above them, which they are not. And they're running around in the streets with army gear. So we have these ICE members that we're paying for from our taxes, by the way. So we're seeing these people going to be roaming the streets. And he want to get these ICE members on every single state, even though it should be up to the mayor or the governor to approve this. But he's overriding them because he's a fucking idiot. But just want to point that out, which means business is going to pretty much decline because people are going to be afraid to go out. Because you're going to have these people roaming the goddamn streets and we're paying for this shit. You know what? I'm so sick of this, man. It's not even funny. So here we go. We see the Americans are announcing aggressive ICE operations in major cities were armed. There are masked officers with no identification. So all of them are not officers. Okay. And they're smashing windows. They're pulling people from the cars and detaining not only undocumented immigrants, but anyone they deem as a threat. If they're deemed as a threat, they pull them out of cars, snatch them in the cars. And these people are saying that these undocumented or unnecessary people or whoever they want to go and rape and run orgies on and sell it to the highest bidder or have their own little fix. Serial killers don't have to hide anymore. Just become an ICE agent. Just become an ICE agent. You can live out your own sick fucking fantasies. So we have these people pulling out innocent people and U.S. citizens from their cars with no identification that they're showing to these people, no warrant, no legitimate proof on how they are able to do this. They are doing this because no one is stopping them, because police officers don't know that they have every right to ask these ICE agents for the identification before they are able to take anyone in their custody. But, you know, officers don't know their legal rights either. Let's be realistic here. Officers don't know their legal right either. So we have these ICE agents pulling out people from vehicles. Okay. Non-criminals and even U.S. citizens. Is anyone they feel they just having a ball out here. Straight liberty, just straight doing what they want. They're feeling freaking liberated. And then we had that shooting of Renee Good. She wasn't the only one. There was millions of others. I'm saying millions because it's starting to stack up there. Okay, that happened in Minneapolis that ignited nationwide protests, apparently, prompting Trump to threaten the Insurrection Act as the Army prepares 1,500 troops. Critics say the bill has militarized immigration enforcement, and Democrats warn that Congress has little power to stop the spending because the legislation runs on autopilot through 2029. Because that was the big, beautiful bill for this legislation to not have any human people to stop it, but to run on autopilot to 2029, which means until Trump term ends, if he lives that long. Some lawmakers want strict limits on ICE tactics, while others call for the agency to dismantle entirely, which I think it should. Meanwhile, Homeland Security has already obligated tens of billions of dollars, much of it for border wall construction. And reports deporting 600,000 people, while nearly 2 million more have self-deported since Trump took office, which means people are just leaving the U.S. anyway, which will screw up our whole demographic system. It will screw up our whole infrastructure, our businesses, because America is built on immigration. The immigrants were helping us keep our world and our country in function. But now, since they are gone and getting raped and killed and deported and everything else, we are going to falter, which means we're going to enter a new Great Depression in the middle of a transition to the age of Aquarius, which is what every transition is. There's always chaos and havoc during every transition. And again, y'all wanted proof about the slocks. The slocks are they're plummeting downward since its tariff imposition. We're losing businesses, which means they're pulling out their money from us. They don't want to do business with the U.S. anymore. Travels is plummet. People are filing bankruptcies. Doors are closing. But Trump is spending billions and billions of dollars on these ICE people who are literally upstarting corporations and offices in every state, like we're in medieval times. So our taxes are going to pay for these ICE agents. And they're not doing background checks on ICE agents. I just want to point that out. Some of these are not really ICE agents. Some of them just got on the costume and just living liberty to do whatever they want. So we are literally going to be one huge detention camp. We're not going to be able to breathe and move without these sick, horny, perverted, racist, violent fuckers running around on the streets doing whatever the hell they want. There is going to be a war. And it's not going to be on foreign land. It's going to be a war smack dead here, right in the middle of America. I can almost see that right now. It's going to be a war. It's going to start with these ICE agents because people are going to start getting violent. And then we're going to start having a war with foreign countries because they're sick of Trump. It's going to be U.S. against every fucking foreign country out there because the UK is going to turn against us and they're going to probably side with, China. And Russia, while our entire government is being dismantled, he's going to sneak in and take over and pretty much do what he's been doing. Y'all thinking it's funny, and the racist people are thinking it's funny because they're like, Trump is this. Are you realizing what's happening? I tried to tell you guys this during the election. Y'all thought it was stupid. Y'all was making fun of me. Everything I predicted came true. If things continue going down like this and we don't stop this and get him out of the house, I'm not talking about impeaching him, which means calling for a recount, getting his entire party out of the house. Seriously. We're going to have war right on our foreign country. They're going to be dropping bombs right on our country on resident neighborhoods. Because y'all don't know how badly he's pissing off these foreign people. They're trying to be patient. They know Trump is a fucking idiot. But our legislation, as you just heard me say, is on autopilot to 2029, which means until Trump leaves office, which means no one is not going to stop him from doing anything. And we're going to have to pay for these ICE agents. Our taxes paying for these pedophiles and rapists and killers. This is what we're paying for. And the Caucasian people don't even care. Only thing they care about is, oh my gosh, Trump is in office. Dude, you are affected by this too. You know your insurance is affected by this. He's talking about in the Social Security. Right? You running around here acting like you rich as Bill Gates. You poor too, you dumb fuck. You're going to be freaking screwed too. So you think you have power just because you Caucasian? And all these fuckers are not Caucasian. Some of these who are in this little sick gang here are immigrants. So you know what? Let's move on here. Because every time I talk about that, it pisses me off for real. All right, let's move on to this reveal about another Trump Epstein moment. Take a listen.
I want you to listen to one of these files that just got released. Now, I have to warn you that this shit is fucking disturbing to say the least. But listen to this. This is crazy.
The last encounter with Trump, the one where I entered him, was the one that I remember the most vividly. My dad, before we went to the farm, this was when we lived in Enterprise, Alabama. Yeah. So it would have been about 81 to 82, somewhere in there, maybe as late as 83. But he said there may be somebody that you know there. And I just remember the look on his face, and it scared the shit out of me. But anyway, when I got to the farm, of course, I'm scared at the farm because I don't know what's going to happen. But the first person that comes up to me is a girl named Patricia. This is a girl that I had been trafficked with before. And she came running up to me and, said hello or whatever. She was about my same age, around 12 to 13. And I can remember my dad saying, well, why don't you guys go run off or whatever and have fun? And I can remember not knowing what to do in that instance because, these parties weren't for me. I wasn't. And then he said something to the effect of, no, it's not like that for you anymore. You're a man now. You can just go out and have fun. Well, we went to go have sex. So we went and found a room and started having sex. And while we were having sex, people burst into the room. It would have been 4, 5, 6 guys, big guys, adults. At least one of them had a gun. I think 2 or 3 of them had guns. But they came in, they assaulted her, they beat on her, and then they shot her while she was still in the bed. They didn't beat or assault me, but what they said was, if you don't do everything that the next person coming in here wants, we're going to shoot you just like we did her. And I can remember them having like an argument because they shot her in the bed and then they had to go find another mattress. Well, that's when Trump came in. So that's why I remember him so vividly. And it was at that point I had already decided they're probably just going to kill me anyway. I'm going to take him with me. And I tried, but I did not.
When Trump assaulted you, so sexual assault and physical assault?
Yes. So at one point, well, I kind of acquiesced to whatever sexual things that he wanted to do. But at some point, he wanted me to have sex with him. So he lay down on his stomach, and there was a wooden tent stake that was in the room. And I had been eyeballing it as a weapon. And what I did was put the condom on the wooden tent stake, put it inside of him, and I kicked it as hard as I could. And that's why he had to get life flighted out, because I ripped him open. I had more than one encounter with Trump, and that's why, because he is a fucking monster.
Oh my gosh.
About just how absolutely abhorrent he is as a human being. Because I had decided, I had already seen enough other people die that in my mind I thought, well, they're just going to kill me too at some point, right? I'm not going to survive to be an adult from this. So in my mind, he was the biggest pile of shit that I'd ever had to have any contact with. So I was going to take him with me. And
how often did Trump assault you?
I can remember 2 specifically. A third one that I think, and I think I was around him more than just those 3 times, but only 3 times do I kind of remember. I can remember at one point him asking the people that were kind of running that party or whatever it was at that farm, he wanted to kill somebody. He wanted to murder somebody. And they said, hey, that's not this kind of party. You can't do that. And they said, in lieu of doing that, they said, well, we've got some puppies. If you just want to kill something, we've got to get rid of them anyway. So I can remember him taking those puppies one by one. And like he snapped one of the
what?
Live in pain while it died, held one under some water to kill it. He wanted to kill those puppies in whatever gruesome way, to experience, I guess, seeing them suffer in different ways. What his kink is, I guess, if you want to call it that, is watching people suffer.
Mind you guys, this is all allegedly, okay? But the amount of evidence that has been coming out with these files is it's overwhelming, and it's truly disturbing, to say the least. It's disgusting, and I don't know how this man is still in the White House right now after everything that's coming out. This is fucking insane.
Did you guys just freaking heard? Did y'all hear? I feel like talking really country right now, even though I don't have a country accent. I'm not even from the country. But can you freaking believe this crap? Seriously. Oh my gosh. You know how many people came forward and said Trump raped them and he's in the White House? If Epstein, one of the biggest traffickers in the world, came forward and he out of his own mouth and other people said that Trump is crazy. His mother said he was crazy. Trump's mother said he was crazy. His niece said he was crazy in her book. But we have the Republican Party and MAGA desperately trying to hold on to some power because they feel that they're losing power. I don't know why they feel that way. This is where we are going at the moment. We got a complete psychopath running our government. And he didn't even win the government fair and square. He lost. He cheated his way into the government. No one voted for him. And the riots and the marches that happened directly after that election proves that no one voted for him. I am so flabbergasted by this whole freaking thing here. Oh my gosh. Wow. I need a moment. Let's keep moving because we already wasted so much time already with the technical difficulties. So I'm just going to go ahead and go through here. Okay. In royal news, we're going to talk about Prince Harry. He's back in London for a court case, but his family's avoiding him. William and Kate went to Scotland instead. This family is so freaking pathetic. They couldn't even go to court and support this man. They had to leave so they can have a reason not to be there, so they don't have to come up with a reason. So they was like, oh, I have something to do in Scotland. Oh, I have something to do somewhere else. This family is pathetic. Pathetic. So other celebrities showed their support for Prince Harry because they couldn't do it. So other celebrities showed their support for him. They showed up in court to support Prince Harry because, Harry and King Charles, they were busy. They had stuff to do. Sure. Let's roll with that. And then we're going to talk about the royal family social media team that made a rare mistake. Apparently, Charles posted some message that he didn't supposed to. I don't know what his problem is, but whatever. And then we have the death of Princess Irene of Greece. King Charles' cousin was buried, and not one single royal whatever showed up. Not even insignificant royals. They didn't show up because they were too busy trying to avoid Harry. So they all pretended to be busy or whatever the hell they were trying to do. I don't freaking know. But we'll talk about that as well. Let's start with Prince Harry. Okay, so Prince Harry, he's back in London. It has been reported that Prince Harry was in London for court in the UK. His primary reason for returning was a high court trial. Prince Harry had to appear in London for a major court case against Associated Newspapers over alleged privacy violation. Now, the trial began on January 19th, and that officially brought him back to the UK, okay? So, yes, the security is a huge part of the story. Harry has been fighting the UK government for years to get back automatic armed police protection. Right now, he's paying for his own protection, which he lost in 2020 after stepping down as a working royal, even though the late Queen Elizabeth said that his security shall continue, even though he is not living or working for the family. She ordered for his security to maintain, but as soon as King Charles became king, he dismantled it and annihilated his security. Yeah, King Charles, the one who act like he's just such an honorable man. He's known to do some dirty ass shit too. Don't forget he's a Scorpio. So that's going on here. So some outlets, let me just say this. A new risk review is underway. So they're going to do a review on his security detail for the UK. Because some outlets claim his protection is nailed on, but officials say no final decision has been made yet. So we don't know what the decision is. We just got outlets just talking and assuming things. Harry says he won't bring, but here's the thing. The security detail isn't just for him, it's for his wife and kids. Because Harry says he won't bring Meghan or his kids back until security is guaranteed. I won't bring them back even if security is guaranteed. I'm just saying. Damn, the security know he's dying to get security for them for. I still won't come back. I'll be like, baby, I appreciate you trying to do all this for yourself, but me and my kids are not stepping a foot in that fucking country. Because I know they're just waiting for a nice opportune time to do me in and make it a past repeating of the late Princess Diana. Because they know as soon as that happens, you go hightailing your ass back to your family and they can treat you like the puppeteer and bleed you for ever fame or endorsement they can get. Even though they're already billionaires from all the slave trading all over the goddamn years. And it was told that the late Queen Elizabeth have gold vaults bigger than fucking Russia's. But, whatever. They can pretend they broke all the hell they want. So, getting back to the point here. So, recent stalking incident pushed the issue forward. During the visit in September 2025, a woman got dangerously close to him at two separate events, one inside a secure zone. Now, these incidents were used as evidence that his current security is not enough. That was actually on, you can find it on TikTok. She wasn't threatening him or anything, but she was protesting for him. But it wasn't even a simple matter that she was on his side. It was a simple matter that she had the mobility to even be that close to even do this. This is why he wants security. What if she wasn't on his side? And she wasn't a Meghan and Harry fan. She was an enemy. She was right there when he came out of the freaking courthouse. She's screaming whatever she was screaming. Of course, it was in honor of Meghan and Harry and how the royal family is doing a man. Yeah, but she was still there. How did she get there? That's the point. So McGarry, because I call Meghan and Harry McGarry with their names together, he wants his children to see where he grew up, but only if security is restored. Sources say Harry's long-term goal is to bring Archie and Lilibet to the UK, but he refuses to do that without full police protection. Why is he trying to bring these kids to the UK? I understand why he wanted to do it in terms of historical standpoint, but I wouldn't even want to do it. I don't understand his little adamancy about this freaking whole thing. But I guess that's his hometown. He grew up, and I guess Meghan, like, okay, even though I don't want to go there, but this is your hometown, and you are here with me. Fine. We can go ahead and do that. But I would not want to do that. Because soon as pictures get taken of their kids, they're going to talk about them. They're going to compare them to Kate and William kids, especially if they're not obedient and nice acting. They're going to be bleeding these kids dry, man. I'm telling you that right now. So anyway, in short, Prince Harry returned to the UK for a court case, but the trip is happening while the government is reviewing whether to restore a full armed security. I don't even know why this is even a freaking question, but whatever. Full armed security, something he considers essential before bringing his family back to the UK. I don't even know why this is even a freaking debate. This shows how petty they is down there, man. It's so sad. So here are some videos here. People was losing their mind over Prince Harry and his little strut, his little power walk, or sexy man, or whatever the fuck you want to call himself. But I gotta admit, he don't look bad though. He do know how to walk in a suit, don't he? Check this out. And they got music to it too. These people are crazy. Look. Look at it. Look. And they said it was a swarm of people out there. With so many people out there, more than the royal family. I wasn't personally looking at Harry. I was personally looking at the security behind him. Look. This gentleman here. I was looking at him. Look. This is what I was looking at right here. Where he at? Right there. I was looking at this gentleman there. Oh my God. What kind of haircut this dude got? Okay. I think something wrong with the water in the UK for these good men to be losing hair like this. Listen to this. Look. They got music. Y'all. I mean, they are seriously trying it. They even slowing it up. They are crazy. Look. This is hilarious. We got a mohawk. Look. This is his hired security. I was looking at this dude here. You do look good though. Nice Italian suit. Very nice. All right, she about to break it down.
A major legal showdown has started in London today. On one side of the battlefield is Prince Harry and 6 of this country's most famous celebrities, and they are suing the publishers of one of Britain's most popular newspapers, the Daily Mail. We did see Prince Harry arriving in the court today. His appearances in the UK are very rare. We also saw the actress Elizabeth Hurley arriving with her son. Among the other plaintiffs are Elton John and his husband, the actress Sadie Frost, and several others. Inside the courtroom was packed with celebrities, with press, with lawyers. The lawyer for Prince Harry and the other plaintiffs gave his opening argument today. They are accusing the publisher of the Daily Mail of engaging in criminal activity to unlawfully obtain information about these celebrities. For Prince Harry, this is
got the orders from the royal
battle.
family.
It is a matter of principle, and he will be taking to the stand on Thursday to give evidence.
I can almost guarantee that these orders for him to be monitored in a legal standpoint more than likely were given by the royal family, who is mysteriously unavailable during this whole trial proceedings. They are dirty as hell, man. I'm gonna go ahead and put that out there. They're dirty. Dirty, dirty, dirty. All right, let's move on to the next. Okay, then let's talk about the royal family social media posts. King Charles, apparently, office made a rare mistake on social media by posting a message out of order, a slip that drew attention because word communications are usually tightly controlled. The message was meant to honor the UK-Ukraine partnership, but appears scrambled when shared on X, formerly Twitter, on January 16th. So what happened on the social media post? Well, the post marked the first anniversary of the 100-year partnership between the United Kingdom and Ukraine. They signed in January 2025 to strengthen military, economic, and cultural ties. Yeah, the Trump is literally gaslighting this man, but he's still on Putin's side. So I told you, the UK going to end up partnership with the US, and that's going to be a real fucking big mistake. Now, the mistake is the message was shared in 2 slides, but the second half was posted first, making the statement confusing and out of sequence. The correction, well, the correct order was later confirmed by Deputy Prime Minister David Lammy, who read the full message during a speech in Kyiv. So they, covered it up, saying this was just a speech he was going to do anyway. It just got leaked. No big deal. I just go ahead and read the whole thing right now. So that's basically what they did. Now, King Charles did express support for Ukraine resilience amid the ongoing war with Russia. They don't side with Trump. Administration for the bravery and strength of the Ukraine people. He also hoped for a just and lasting peace that protects Ukraine's sovereignty. He signed off with Slava Ukraini, glory to Ukraine, and his Regnal signature, Charles R. whatever. So that's what Charles did. Yeah, this is the same man here who treating his fucking son like an immigrant or a enemy, but he's buddying up with this gentleman here. I don't blame him, but however, can you give your same son the same respect you're giving this man here? Just want to point that out. So why this matters, mistakes like this are extremely rare for the royal family's social media team, which usually maintains a polished and precise public image. Now, the post came during a sensitive geopolitical moment as tensions with Russia remain high and NATO allies are closely watching the Arctic and the European security. Everyone is watching that right now thanks to Trump. He done messed up everything. First, it was just a war between Ukraine and Russia, and then the endless war with Israel and whoever they trying to fight. That was pretty much it. But now everyone is going at war. China's about to go at war. Everyone is going at fucking war now because he's instigating. Dumbass. Now here's the subject you guys have been waiting patiently for. This is my new intro for Celebrity Gossip. Yeah, I'm gonna start playing. That's nice. Okay, so blind item number one. Blind item number one is discussing. Well, here we are with another blind item, and this one is a doozy. It seems that since he has been overseas, this is George Clooney, this married permanent A-list actor has been calling female escorts to join him and his boyfriend. That's what they're saying. They're saying this is George Clooney. I don't know if this is true, but that's what I'm getting. I'm just reading what the blind item says. And they're talking about George Clooney. So, yeah, apparently George Clooney is married in legal status, but he's still out there being his single, horny self, apparently, judging from this blind item. I'm just saying. So, apparently, again, George Clooney, who was calling in escorts while out of town, I guess some things never changed because I thought he was a changed married man with kids and stuff with his little famous smart wife, but apparently it was just for a moment, and now he's out here in the streets. But whatever it is, that's not my business, but that's what that is. Blind item number two. Oh, and there's another one, and I don't know what to say about this one except I'm a little concerned. Now here's a blind item. This A-list actor, sometimes director, is faithful to his on again, off again ex, so he has been hiding the fact he has been hooking up with this foreign-born former A-list model who used to be a beard for hire, which means this fool here is back to his old ways, and he's back, messing with models and younger girls. So he's cheating. I don't even think him and Jennifer Lopez are even still together, but I hear they still get together and do a little what, and not. So they're kind of together. Yeah, me too. They're kind of together, but not together. So they're still hitting it, that's what I'm hearing. So, but Ben Affleck, as usual, his malevolent, evil, out in the streets, causing chaos self, because that's what he does. I'm just going to point that out there. But Jennifer Lopez is obsessed with this man. She is obsessed. First of all, this is a cute outfit that she has on, but she's obsessed. So this is apparently about Jennifer Lopez, okay? But Ben Affleck, it seems that Jennifer Garner kids are sick of J-Lo. Here's what they're saying. They said Jennifer Garner kids and Ben Affleck kids are sick of Jennifer Lopez hanging around. Here's what this article said. It says Ben Affleck kids are reportedly feeling overwhelmed and tired of Jennifer Lopez being around so much after divorce. Sources say the kids don't dislike J-Lo. They just want more normalcy, quiet time and space without constant cameras or celebrity attention. Their routines feel disrupted, and the blended family spotlight has been a lot for them to handle. Ben is trying to keep everyone happy, but balancing co-parenting, fame, and high-profile breakup hasn't been easy. Lopez, meanwhile, has said she's been trying to be more present for her own kids after they told her she wasn't a regular mom or home enough. Jennifer Garner also recently said she and Ben have reached a peaceful, cooperative co-parenting rhythm, showing that healing and stability are possible even after a difficult split. Now, you understand Jennifer Garner is already with another man. I think she just had a baby by another man because, she loves dropping dingo babies. She's like Kimora Lee Simmons. She get with a guy, she got to drop a baby. I guess using birth control or any birth control contraception is not in her book. Jennifer Garner's always dropping babies. Yes. That's Jennifer Garner, the one who come across as this humble, supportive ex-wife, but is she really? Personally speaking, I don't know what the hell's wrong with Jennifer Lopez, but she has never been this thirsty for a guy ever. Not any of her exes, but she is crazy about this troubled man who's been acting since he was a knee-high to a grasshopper. Do he even know what his personality is? I mean, do you even know who you are if you've been acting since you was like 5 or 6 years old? Seriously? Do you even trust anything to come in his mouth? Is he acting in character or is he being himself? Do he know who himself is? Does he need counseling? God said everyone should be acting when it comes to Ben Affleck, who's been acting since he was like 5 or 6 years old. I'm sorry. Nope. I understand these are both Leos and they cosmically attracted to one another. I can understand that. But this is starting to get freaking ridiculous. Now, I'm going to say this. I personally feel sorry for Jennifer Lopez because it also seems that people have been talking about her makeup as well. They said her makeup has been kind of weird. I don't know anything about that, but this is what this young lady says.
So much worse than what anyone is talking about with JLo's Glambot thing. And I don't know if it's because people don't want to talk about all of it or maybe they haven't put it all together. But this was all years, if not decades in the making. What are we talking about? Her makeup was horrible, okay? Was that intentionally done by her makeup artist? Maybe. There was probably excuses used as to why they made her makeup that horrible. Maybe had to do with the outfit, trying to like bring out how the neutrals in the outfit. Maybe they were going to say she was being washed out because she was presenting. But the fact that that happened, the Glambot happened where she showed up late, guys. The Glambot had been like shut down. She didn't just snub Cole, the guy who is a director in his own rights. She didn't just snub him by barely talking to him. She never thanked him for basically keeping the Glambot turned on so that she could do her Glambot shot. None of that. Or the fact that after the Glambot was done, no one color corrected any of it, tried to make her look better in any way in the Glambot. The fact that whenever she walked away, she didn't tell him bye or nothing. She just waved at the paparazzi, who were also dwindling because the red carpet was over with by the time she showed up. And no one can be in shock of any of this, right? We've been hearing about this for a long time, that she's not the best like personality to work with. We've just been seeing only bits and pieces of it because she tries to put on a really good front. But keep in mind, this is someone who's never won a Grammy, an Oscar, a SAG award, a Critics' Choice Award, music industry stuff, guys. She's not just like acting in major movies every single year, normally multiple movies a year. She's also putting out albums and going on tour and not winning any awards. We're talking minimal award winning for someone who has been in this industry for her entire life, basically. So why is this all catching up to her right now? I think because a lot of things have happened in the last 5 years. I'm not even talking about the P. Diddy stuff, okay? She's also a part of that entire fiasco. But the fact that she had a makeup artist who literally died on her watch, I'm pretty sure it was overseas when he passed away, and he was sick, dying. She left him to go on to whatever events she was going to, knowing he was dying. He died, and it was Kylie Jenner, another celebrity who stepped up, got his body brought back, paid for his funeral, talked about what a great human being he was, not even talking about how he was like her favorite makeup artist. I never heard anything out of JLo's camp after that guy passed away. And he was a well-known makeup artist who she had paid to fly with her for whatever this press tour was. I can't even remember. I just remember he passed away and it was horrifically sad. And JLo completely just abandoned this guy. So was this makeup artist thing that we just witnessed retribution for that? Did this makeup artist know the other makeup artist? Did this makeup artist just know what she did to that man and was like, we've had enough. Tonight is the night. Is Cole, the director for the Glambot, is he in on all of this? Or was this also years of her snubbing him, her showing up late, not being like appreciative at all, barely even won't look him in the eye, which is not like that's how she treats him. She never looks this man in the eye. If you go back years, ever since this director has been doing the Glambot on red carpet, JLo literally doesn't even say anything to, like, it's the coldest shoulder. I think it's because she doesn't realize that he is somebody in his own right. So he's like below her. But yeah, death by 1,000 cuts. So many things, and that's just the tip of the iceberg of the stuff that has leaked out to the public. No telling what else, like we will probably never know from people within this industry, but there's a reason she looks like that. There's a reason her Glambot didn't get any kind of touch up. There's a reason she's not winning any of these awards in film or music. We're witnessing it all culminate together in one night. It was absolutely intentional. And I think what I just shared is probably a lot of the pieces of the puzzle.
Okay, I have to admit, I slightly agree with the young lady who noticed Jennifer Lopez's makeup. I can't comment in the makeup artist standpoint because I don't know the backstory of both sides of the story. I don't know why Jennifer Lopez didn't do it. Maybe she did and just get leaked to the media. I don't know what happened there. I don't know the backstory of those of anything when it comes to the makeup artist. I mean, was this makeup artist J-Lo before he died? Was they still working together before he died? Or he just so happened to did a job for J-Lo, but you know, it was just that was it. That was the only connection they had. How did Jennifer really respond? Was she this cold for real? I don't know. I need more information. We don't know. We only know what this young lady said and what she claimed the streets had said. I don't really know. However, I can say this. Jennifer may haven't won the major awards, but she has won a lot of awards. If you wish to look in Google and say, how many awards did Jennifer Lopez win? She won maybe over 200 some awards. She did win awards, maybe not the major ones, but she did win a lot of awards. I just want to point that out. But Jennifer Lopez is known for her very mean attitude. That part is definitely true. She is known to have a really bad attitude and snooty as hell and very picky. That has been going on for so long. Again, I don't know the backstory to that as well, but she has been known to be very snooty and rude. We have saw a lot of her little evil looks toward her security guards and her assistants and stuff, and that'd be on seriously on live feed during press. I have saw that. So I don't know. I don't know is maybe she's going through menopause and she's having hot flashes and mood swings and she's just not in the mood anymore. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. She is 50 some years old. I mean, the woman is getting up there in age. I'm just saying, but it is what it is. Tell me what y'all think below. Okay, and I'm still not done yet. Here's one more blind item here. Don't be surprised. This illiterate, I don't understand this. They always put illiterate, and every time I see this word, I end up saying something else, or I be trying to fill in and say something else because it don't fit this sentence. Don't be surprised. It's illiterate actress. Why is it saying that? Why is illiterate is even in this equation? It doesn't make any freaking sense. So I'll be trying to say something else. So if it be sound like I don't understand this, it doesn't seem grammatically correct to say this, but whatever. It says here, don't be surprised, literate actress Tayana Taylor, who is a contender this award season, is still supportive of the former A-list rapper Kanye West. The actress is, after all, close to the other former A-list rapper, Chris Brown, who is a fan of beating women. Well, at least that's what they say. So the actress even made her SN profile pic of the assaulted one named ex Rihanna he beat up years ago to intimidate the ex. A nice person she is not. I already told you guys the beef I had in the past about with Rihanna and this little whole Chris Brown thing in terms of their fight, because it was told they had a fight. It wasn't him beating her up like he's Ike and she's anime. No, or Tina Turner I should have said, but no, it was a fight. They had a fight. Like she threw blows, he threw blows. It was a fight, but still no reason for him to hit her because whatever. I don't know. Anyway, so here's what the article say though that was linked to this blind item. It says Tayana Taylor. This is the article right here. Tayana Taylor opens up about her long, complicated history with Kanye West, saying that even though she doesn't agree with everything he says or does, including his anti-Semitic remarks, she refuses to abandon him because she sees him like family and believes loyalty doesn't disappear when someone makes mistakes. She says Kanye knows she'll always give him honest answers when he asks. At the same time, Tayana has grown close to Kim Kardashian while filming their Hulu series All's Fair, describing how their friendship turned into a genuine sisterhood filled with group chats and on-set bonding. She also reflects on her painful divorce from Iman, however you pronounce that dude's name, Shumpert, saying that the end of their nearly decade-long relationship felt like grieving someone who's still alive, and that love and that experience still shapes how she approaches love. Now, the article details their legal battles, including accusations of financial misconduct and a $70,000 contempt fine against her, and ends up highlighting Tayana's recent Golden Globe win, her gratitude for a 20-year career, and her artistic roots under Kanye's G.O.O.D. music, including her iconic appearance in his Fade video. Remember that? She was like half naked, pumping and bumping the workout equipment, showing off her body and dancing or whatever. Yeah, so she basically said she don't agree with Kanye. She don't agree with a lot of his actions. And now that she pretty much got to know Kim Kardashian, now she see both sides of the story, even though she doesn't agree how Kanye's been acting. So I got a very mature Tayana, and I've heard many people who got to know Tim, whom later said she is the sweetest person. I also agree with her on the reflection of Rihanna, despite her shady trafficking history with the Carters. But whatever. I'm talking about she being trafficked by the Carters. I'm not saying that, you know, she's including with the trafficking herself. She was trafficked too. A lot of people have called her mean and rude. They have called Rihanna mean and rude. I would never mock her getting beat up by a man, though, but I still stand by the fact that Chris Brown didn't throw the first punch and it was a neutral fight. And and the part I understand here, how are known woman beaters mad at Chris Brown when all of them were rumored to be woman beaters? So I'm about to say J-Lo. So Jay-Z is trying to blacklist Chris Brown for beating Rihanna when he beat women. And our Diddy has something to do with it too. What the fuck? Are we living in an alternate universe? Seriously? Jay-Z beat women. Hell, Jay-Z was trying to find his next it girl. Dude was on a prowl for real. Y'all heard that he was trying to get at Brandy. Hell, Ray J dropped videos of that, and I do have them, by the way. He was trying to get at Brandy. He was literally going down a list of most prominent female singers or stars at the time because he wanted the it girl. Dude was going down a list seriously. I think he went to Blue Contrail, but that didn't work out so well. And then I'm not saying it in quite, order, but this is what he was doing. Let me see who was big at the time back in the 90s. Help me out in the comment section. Who was big? Foxy Brown, even though Foxy Brown was like 14, 15 years old, but he never gave a fuck about ages. He fucked with minors, him, Diddy, all the rest of them pedos. So they didn't care about ages. So he messed around Foxy Brown. Everyone ran up in Lil' Kim while she trying to run around here acting like she's a judgment person. So we have Foxy Brown, he ran up in Blue Contrail. He tried to get Aaliyah, but they didn't mess around. And Damon Dash confirmed that no one slept on Aaliyah but R. Kelly. So that confirms why he was so jealous of R. Kelly, because R. Kelly was the only person that smashed Aaliyah. And Aaliyah went seriously after the whole R. Kelly thing. She reclaimed her, celibacy. She didn't want to do anything until she was married. Hence why Damon Dash claimed he was engaged to her, which they wasn't, but whatever. So Damon Dash confirmed that no one hit Aaliyah. She was just a flirt. Only person who had sexual relationships with Aaliyah was R. Kelly. Hence why Jay-Z was so pissed off and jealous of him. Like, why did he get the hit? I didn't get the hit. So yeah, Jay-Z, he was trying to get Aaliyah. She ended up dead, unfortunately. May she rest in peace. And then he went down to Brandy, which was kind of in between the whole Foxy Brown and Aaliyah situation. But Brandy is an Aquarius, and we see through bullshit like freaking Jay-Z. Considering Brandy was friends with Aaliyah, and she knew that Jay-Z was trying to hit Aaliyah because Brandy and Aaliyah are cool. So even though Jay-Z knew this, but he didn't fucking care. He don't care. So that didn't work out so well. So then he was like, well, shit, Aaliyah's dead. Brandy's not getting at me. Blue Contrail's not, please, she's not trying to hit that shit. Who is next? Damn. Beyonce. Because even Wendy Williams said that he's looking for a very powerful person to be with, but someone who's naive. The people I listed weren't naive. I mean, Aaliyah may have been kind of naive when she got with R. Kelly, but she became very intelligent. And she wasn't naive. She was hip to the game after that and what people were trying to do, which is why a lot of them didn't like her. So yeah. So what happened? I don't know. We can pretty much guess what happened after that. He got with Beyonce. Sold his partnership with Beyonce to her dad and mom, which probably wasn't that freaking hard, as a freaking record deal and a blank check. Like, I can help her with her music. You know how you be talking, do a duet, really put her in the rap game, really put her on the map, hook her up with some producers, I'm Jigga. That's what the fuck he probably was doing. And they were like, oh, sure, because they was having Beyonce up there half naked on stage and stuff. So trust me, her parents didn't give a damn, long as the paycheck was good. Why they trying to keep her from freaking R. Kelly? You should have kept her from freaking Jay-Z. But anyway, now she's a billionaire now, but she would have became a billionaire without him. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't freaking know. I don't really care. The point of the matter is, that's what was going on with that. So why is he blacklisting Chris Brown, though? Did he really try to get with Monica? I never heard him trying to get with Monica, though. When was that? I never heard of that. You guys send me a link to that. But anyway, so it was rumored that Jay-Z is blacklisting Chris Brown. Although, again, he's a hypocrite because he is a woman beater too. So why are they pissed off at him, even though, this was a neutral fight, judging from what the streets say that happened with him and Rihanna? He didn't even throw the first punch. She threw the first punch. But I know it shouldn't matter. Oh, no, I didn't hear about Monica. Nope, I didn't hear about that. Nope. I think Monica was already messing around with somebody else. Nope. Whew. But here are some clips. This is Jaguar going to break down the whole Chris Brown little debacle. She's going to break it down.
Chris Brown, and they keep trying. They did the same thing to Michael Jackson. They did the same thing. They just kept. For him, it was children, and for Chris, it's you hit Rihanna. You a reader for the rest of your life. You're a weirdo. Like we don't care that you're talented. We don't care that you don't hire lookalikes to come and do your concerts after people paid all that money to see you, like Usher did.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
It's
if the documentary does show something or tell something that is damning,
anybody who wants to watch that needs to take into consideration that we live in the age of AI. And you can make a human being say anything you want them to if you have enough picture frames and if you have enough voice. But at the end of the day, we live in a day and age now where you can literally make a person say and do whatever you want them to. All you need is the right amount of pixels and the right amount of imagery, and you can make anybody say anything. Hey, well, wait a minute. Didn't the DA thank me? The DA in Diddy's case thanked me too. Is that him or AI?
So, Jack, there's a saying. There's a saying, and Vlad brought this up right after you came up, Chris Morgan. He's saying, of course, these documentaries tend to lead to like arrest.
Yeah.
And there's a saying that if there's smoke, there's fire.
Chris Brown at all costs.
Yeah.
Every Chris Brown fan. Like I'm learning the sensational choreography because I got a little special plan. But I love that song, Sensational, with him and David. Why is it a number one blockbuster hit everywhere in the world except for here? Maybe for the same reason that, Rihanna's music is blocked. Have y'all noticed that? Yeah, they're blocking her records. Like if you go and try to add a song to a short, the approved playlist when you put in search, you can't tag a Rihanna song to any of it. Not on Instagram at all. Why not? especially anything from the Auntie album. It was her best album. It was the least promoted. It came to mixed with, no, it was amazing. But see, Sean Carter doesn't like to be embarrassed in public. And neither does his wife. And there were nothing but embarrassing things all through that album.
I got a random question.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Janet Jackson?
That's a hard one. I love Janet. And I also know that Janet came up in a time where she was trying to find her own independence and trying to find her own voice. And she wasn't going to let her daddy do to her what he did to her brother Michael. Janet is strong, she's smart, and she's fierce. And she's loyal. She's a Taurus. You know, her birthday is May 19th. She's a Taurus. But the fact that her bisexuality is still being hidden. The fact that the real.
Now, this one here, she's talking about Chris Brown and him being thrown in jail. These are old clips, but I just want to bring this back to surface.
Why is Chris Brown in jail?
Well, he did hit my head with a knife.
Are we sure that actually happened? Are we sure that he was left with no choice? I'll never forget, not long after that whole foolishness between him and Rihanna, and he went to do the Good Morning in America to do a performance, and they gaslit him so bad.
I put that on his album, you know. I think this album is what, you know, I want people to hear and want people to really get into. So definitely this album is what I wanted to talk about. And that stuff that happened 2 years ago.
And he freaked out on the ass and should have for what they were trying to do to him. And then they made sure that was publicized. Rihanna was signed to Jay-Z. Chris Brown wasn't playing ball the way they wanted him to. The next thing you know, he gets labeled as a woman abuser, and then they put the dogs on. Oh, you beat up a woman, you know. It's funny because they all beat up women too, allegedly.
I know. That's what I'm saying. They beat on women, but they're trying to make his career suffer. Make it make sense, you freaking hypocrites. You beat on everybody. Know you used to beat Beyonce ass back in the day. Probably still do, who the hell knows. As long as the dollar's big, I'm sure her and her family do not care. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at more. Now, this one particular here, these are random topics. They're talking about, apparently there's been some kind of let's go ahead and invent this word, fictitious rumor about Quincy being a trafficker. I don't believe that one goddamn bit. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm just not hearing about this since he's dead now. May you rest in peace. But this is what they're saying.
I think the thing that raised some eyebrows with people is when I dropped the information about Quincy Jones. I let the chips fall wherever they fall.
That's right.
This dude was one of the ones responsible. He had a magazine financed by Warner Brothers and the rest of it. He set up 6 strings in Hollywood. And the people that he brought in, and don't tell me if I'm lying, Quincy Jones brought in Fresh Prince. And his first movie was what? 6 Degrees of Separation. Or Queen Latifah.
Not 6 degrees stuff.
Queen Latifah set it off, licking and kissing on women. Tevin Campbell. His little sweet ass up and down Hollywood Boulevard. Thank you. And last but not least, when Tupac came to Hollywood, it was the homosexual ritual. This is where the homosexuals came out against it, but I didn't mind. I wasn't talking about homosexuals. I say there's a homosexual ritual that they go through in the Illuminati secret societies. Yeah, and it is. So when I mentioned that about it marrying itself on to hip hop, they said, well, can you prove it? Yeah. Go back and go online and read where Tupac said he was asked by Quincy Jones to fuck him in the ass. When Tupac said no, that's what Tupac was.
That was Diddy.
Why? Because Tupac was engaged to Quincy Jones's daughter. Quincy Jones's daughter, was best friend, was Aaliyah. Leah was
That
in
part
jail,
is true.
Shutdown, Dash. Now, if y'all follow these people back, all of them either died or was brought to ruin.
I don't know about Quincy telling him to do that, but I do know Diddy told people to do that. Diddy told, remember later on in Kim Porter's book, Diddy told Tupac to do that. So I think this is before the whole Diddy situation, you know what I'm saying? In Kim Porter book, this whole clip, this is an old clip. But that's what was the deal here. Diddy told Tupac to do that to someone. And that's when Tupac went on a rampant and ousting how there's gay dudes in hip hop. Even Ice Cube made a song about gay dudes in hip hop. He used to say that Eazy-E used to like that back in the day, but I don't know if that was true. I don't know. Ice Cube just said that he was beefing with Eazy-E at the time, so I don't know if that's all factual. But that was the street back in the day. That was the streetest rumor back in the day. Now we're going to talk about Leonardo DiCaprio, who apparently used to be with a gang of other little young starlets, and they used to go around harassing and raping and acting like some crazy psychotic people back in the day.
Did you know Leonardo DiCaprio and Tobey Maguire once sued to bury a raw indie movie because it exposed a side of them they didn't want us to see? And if you're new here, hi, my name's Jordan, and this is Hollywood Hot Takes, where I give my unhinged opinions on Hollywood and tell interesting stories about the film industry at large. In his early fame days, Leo was wildly different than the Oscar-winning Leonardo we think of now. He surrounded himself with a tight-knit, chaotic crew of young stars with a name so vile I actually can't say it on TikTok. They were called something along the lines of the Kitty Posse, but from now on, we'll just call them the Posse. The Posse included Leo, OG Spider-Man Tobey Maguire, magician David Blaine, director Harmony Korine, and actors like Kevin Connolly, Lucas Haas, J.R. Ferguson, Josh Miller, and Ethan Suplee. At the time, they were described as a frat house of young men whose main mission was partying, chasing women, and pranks. Legendary stories of their antics made headlines. Stink bombs set off at Sky Bar, grapes thrown at paparazzi from hotel rooftops, trash tossed off Brooklyn Promenade. Leo's posse also had a reputation for not taking no very well. When Saved by the Bell star Elizabeth Berkley turned down a dinner invite from Leo and the group, they allegedly harassed her by phone. And when her boyfriend, Roger Wilson, stopped, they goaded him into a hotel confrontation where someone from the posse punched him in the throat, permanently injuring his larynx. He filed a $45 million lawsuit, but it was thrown out. And when journalist Nancy Jo Sales was once trying to secure an interview with Leo, she says she came home to a drunk voicemail from the posse saying she'd only get it if she made a deal, something like Monica did for Bill. That's the energy they were operating with. Enter Dawn's Plum, a black and white micro-budget indie meant to be their version of Clerks or Slacker. It featured Leonardo DiCaprio, Tobey Maguire, and Kevin Connolly riffing as foul-mouthed LA guys bragging about their love lives. Producers close to the project say Leo believed he was just signing up for a short throwaway project, not a full feature film. But once the director and the producers decided to turn it into a feature-length movie, things got complicated. Imagine a raw, grungy film full of improvised, drunken conversations and arguments, dirt on exactly who they were in their most unfiltered state. That's not the polished, controlled public persona of an A-lister. DiCaprio and Maguire fought particularly hard to bury it. A producer even filed a $10 million lawsuit on Tobey Maguire's behalf, claiming that, quote, improvisational comments he had made during the film revealed personal experiences or tendencies that would undermine his public image, unquote. We know why Leo wanted it buried, but why did Tobey want it buried so bad? He wasn't directly involved in any of the stories that I previously mentioned, so what gives?
Because maybe he was directly involved? Talking about what gives. So again, we have a Leonardo DiCaprio having a really dark past, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. This young lady here, now I know why her career is blacklisted. I just thought because people didn't like her because she was a bad actor, but I remember she played in Showgirls. So Leonardo used his little celebrity pool right along with his little celebrity posse here and blacklist this young lady here because she said no. Okay, there's the final missing to the puzzle. I was wondering where that puzzle went and where did it go? What happened? That's why, because she said no. So interesting. I may need to revisit Leo. So Leonardo not only is an endless playboy and only mess around with models and stuff and used to hang with Diddy. Do I think he went to the Super Freak-Offs? Probably not. But still, he is definitely starting to become a known sick motherfucker. Let's point that crap out there. yeah, y'all might want to see Leonardo in a different way, because everything I'm starting to hear about this man has not been neutral. And I ain't even tell you the dark crap I heard about this dude here. But you know what? Whatever. That's the final missing piece revealed to the puzzle on what happened to this girl. I was wondering what happened to her career. Wow. She said no, they had her blacklisted. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, Leonardo, you are about to get straight ruined, dude. Welcome to the age of Aquarius. His crap about to start exploding. You about to start hearing stuff about Leonardo, I'm telling you. It's about time. About random people, they do this. It's so annoying. As soon as I start talking about random people, they do this. Certain people, they always do this. So we know who's definitely messing up my channel. All right, now this one here is a little bit historical insight here. She is correcting the lies has been told about my people in terms of them being whitewashed. Listen to this.
If you see the ancient god of Vietnamese, he's black. The ancient god of Hawaiians, he's black. The ancient god of the Indian, Vishnu, is black. The ancient god of Chinese, Buddha, is black. Are these Africans? No, European will tell you this is parallel development. And we sit around and accept this because he wants to develop his concept of white supremacy. And if he wasn't there first, then it didn't happen. You have pyramids in Egypt. You have pyramids in West Africa. And you have pyramids in Central America. You have those great, big, thick-lipped, big-nosed megaliths in the Ivory Coast. And you have them in the Olmec civilization here. But did they cross the ocean? No, because Columbus discovered America. So, if everything around the equatorial belt is black and black culture and tropical people, why? How can we possibly believe that they went all the way up through Siberia and then dispersed? What is the purpose of such a stupid interpretation of the dissemination of humanity? That is how deep white supremacy goes. In the oceanic belt of the equator, what do you see? Little black people here, little black people here, little black people here, little black people. But did they go that way? Because they want to say the European was the first person to cross the Atlantic Ocean, right? Now, how difficult is it to get across the Atlantic Ocean? Well, maybe they didn't just come through the Bering Strait. Maybe they went across the Indian Ocean, which is twice as wide as the Atlantic, or the Pacific, which is 3 times as wide as the Atlantic, rather than saying Africans left the equator belt of Africa and went right across the Atlantic to Brazil. And there are no 25,000 or 30,000-year-old fossils in Canada. Rather than tell you they came across the ocean, how difficult is it to get across the Atlantic Ocean? But Europeans didn't know that Africans, ancient Egyptians, were wise enough to actually make all kinds of boats that could go across the ocean. They knew all this kind of technology. So what they did, to get back to the concept of epistemology, they tell you the migration only came through the Siberian Strait, and then people reverted into these phenotypes. These assumptions we are accepting to keep the idea that there is only one way to get here. Now, here's the second thing. In Egypt, you have pyramids. The Nile was wet 7,000, 9,000 years was BC. It was West. And
she was spitting some facts, wasn't she? That's what I'm talking about. Now, this lady here, now this is something that's always been on my mind in terms of why are we consistently looked upon as we're alien or not human? Ever since the time of slavery, they treated us like we were extraterrestrials and we weren't human. They called us subhuman. Why did they do that? Where did that trend come from? It couldn't have been just rooted for racism. Because even if we are riding, we have no weapons. I can seriously be riding with a Starbucks cup. No one else have weapons. We're connecting like hooks on a chain. All of us. Seriously, back in the day, civil rights, Martin Luther King marching, we're connecting elbow to elbow, arm to arm. Clearly, our hands are visible. But we have opposing officers with gas masks, guns, Uzi, bulletproof vests, shields on their faces. They're acting as if we have these kind of superpowers that we could any day now just rise into this gigantic superhero and kill them, whatever superpowers we have. I'm wondering, okay, was that done in ancient times and this feeling just transcended through the genes of these Caucasian people where they actually saw us do these things? I mean, can I turn my coffee cup into some kind of, I don't know, electrified sword? Sometimes I wonder if this theory of them thinking us we are superhuman is actual factual, because it would definitely answer a lot of questions, not just us, but Hispanic people as well. It would definitely answer a lot of questions on why they're too busy trying to soil our water, trying to kill us with this bioengineered food, putting drugs in our community, destroy education, burning our neighborhoods, killing our people, breaking down our entire demographic system. Why they're so desperately to try to make sure we don't succeed at anything, because they don't want us to come into power because they're afraid that we are going to retaliate, or they're afraid we're going to finally realize the powers we do have. And it's not only that, why are we aware of this? Because they are aware of this. I'm not saying all Caucasian people are aware of this. I'm just saying they are. Because every time we look at heroic figures with superpowers, they never look like us. Even in movies, they're always looking like other races. You know, we may see, you know, black speck or Hispanic speck somewhere in there, but predominantly they're Caucasian people who are these heroic people saving the world. Now, these are only fiction characters, because in real life, let's face it, that's not realistic. They don't save the world as in whole, you know, as in unity. So that's definitely fiction. But check this out. Check what this young lady says.
What if I told you that you are in a quantum electromagnetic prism that has hijacked your consciousness and pushed it into this reality so you can curate the reality that they have programmed you to simulate? And quantum physics actually proves this. Follow me. I know it's complex, but I'm gonna break it down for you. Stay with me. So we all know about the observer effect, right? I want you to hold that in the back. We're gonna bring that back to the front. We're gonna bring this all together, okay? So we do understand that everything is made out of atoms. Atoms is 99% nothingness, potential energy. You are actually a super atomic being in a super fixed position, as long as you don't respond to your environment, the environment that you are creating and collapsing based on your perception of you, which has been manipulated from birth. Okay, so you are actually programmed, because it's also been studied that we do compute everything just the same as computers do. The computers were actually based on us. Yes, we are the blueprint and model for what technology is built off of. So you have a thing called computational computing. Yeah, and that goes on in the hexagonal lattices within your brain. Okay, follow me. So what that means is that you are collapsing this electromagnetic field into whatever you want it to be. And that is based on your perception of you, which has been programmed into you from birth. Not only is that going on, but you also have conscious Wi-Fi that allows for the government to connect to the consciousness of every superatomic being and all of the NPCs and agencies that are in the system as well. They can connect just like they exposed it in the movie The X-Men. And do you want to know what those hydrogen colliders are doing? Just like in the X-Men, they're opening up motherfucking portals to these interdimensional beings that are wanting to drain you of your light in your life and your solar body, so that way you can have the opportunity to surpass them in your godship. This is all being dropped in CIA documents that confirm superhuman abilities. Let's go to the clip. This is the X-Men, mind you, showing you the hydrogen collider, how they can travel through space and time by combusting these particles. Yes. Showing you that the Nazi war was not what you think it was. And putting you into an alternate reality. This is technology that they've had since the 50s. You get what I'm saying? This is how they wanted to mimic the all-seeing eye. This is the technology. Yes, right in your face.
Right in your face. Now, this is about this Anderson Cooper. I heard about him on the streets. Apparently, he has a history of slavery. Well, not slavery, history of family who owned slaves. So they're just digging into the very sketchy history of Anderson Cooper. These are just random topics.
Anderson Cooper's ancestor changed this man's race. Yes. So Anderson Cooper's Vanderbilt line are descendants of the wealthiest plantation owners of South Carolina who enslaved thousands of people. And his fifth great grandmother, Elizabeth Vandross Moore, yes, the same family as Luther Vandross, she was the daughter of Mary Fawson, who was the daughter of Elias Fawson, who enslaved at least 5 Indians in South Carolina. And thanks to Andrew Johnson and his research, we know that at least one of these Indians went by the name Tom. Somehow, Tom went from being an Indian in 1739 to a Negro in 1767. While Johnson doesn't exactly know why Tom was racialized as Negro from Indian, he does know that differentiating between Negroes and Indian was no longer of use to the white enslavers. And he closes with, although enslaved Indians became Negroes in the archive, Black Americans knew that the enslavement of Native Americans was a part of their history as well. Why do so many people refuse to acknowledge that many Black Americans have American Indian ancestry?
Now, you already heard me discuss that before and how they changed the race of Black Indians to Negro. So the current people who are called Negroes, Blacks, whatever, African, now we're African. We were documented as Indians, but they changed it. So now, and then they went and turned the Asian and Chinese people that were migrating from overseas, they made them register as Indians. And that lie has descended downward where they actually, some of them really think they're Indians. And they are casted as Indians next to real Indians. And I said this in a short clip. Next to even Ghost. You have the gentleman who plays Jay, who's a real Indian, who's looking at this Chinese Asian dude play what he is. And they did the same thing in The Indian Cupboard. They had a Chinese dude play Indian while the lead young boy befriend a real Indian. They just be mocking people. The government and the network, Hollywood network, are some serious fucking savages. I'm telling you, they have not changed at all. Okay. moving right along here. And the show's only going long because of the technical difficulties earlier that happened. Okay. And I'm going to go through this real quick. This favorite part of my show is called Brain Food. And we're going to talk about Christianity, where it didn't start off as equal. Okay. So Christianity didn't start out as equal. Early church leaders pushed women out of leadership and rewrote stories to make men center of everything. Most of the heroic stories that's in the Bible weren't really about men. They were about women. They just changed it from she to he or whatever the case may be. Or even the beginning in Genesis. Historically, it was a woman, but they changed it to a man because they didn't want women to have any part in biblical history or history at all. This is when things were starting to become male dominant. Now, the body, especially women's bodies, was labeled sinful. Desire, sexuality, and natural human feelings were treated like something to be ashamed of. Only men were allowed to have these feelings. If women were having these feelings, they were punished, brutally punished, sometimes even put to death. They were only to be there as a body, as a vessel, as a working tool, as a commodity to men. They were allowed to think. It was told they think too much, their brain may overload. This is how they treated women back in the day. Those are facts. The Bible. Yeah, the Bible. Instead of guiding people with wisdom, leaders used fear to control behavior, and they often said God said it just to scare people into being obedient. So in order for them to make whatever they said was prominent and definite, they said God said it. If you do this, God will do this. Don't worry, after death, you'll see the beautiful kingdom of heaven. It's really weird. They said only the blessed will see the pearly gates. But blessed means sacrifice. See, only the sacrifice will see the pearly gates. So those who sacrifice something, whether it be your loved one or yourself, or for that matter, you're only allowed to see the pearly gates. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. You start learning the root meaning of words, man. You know, the Bible was wicked as hell, man. So anyway, and then we have these old tales still show up today. It says purity, so being pure, and culturally misogyny and anti-LGBTQ beliefs and policies, women choices, all come from those early power structures. So when they were so angry with women, the goddess and their longing influence, whereas they made sure to erase them from history and the Bible. So they wanted women to be pure. So it was no anti-LGBTQ, even though there's homosexuality all through the goddamn Bible. But they're saying it was against it. There's really nothing that says, okay, they said it's abomination that, you know, Jesus, whoever said this, there's no proof of this. There's homosexuality all through church. You have priests having sex with dudes. You having these girls back in the day that were sent to convents and stuff of that nature, getting raped, and their babies getting killed and thrown in some unmarked grave because they was literally there just to feed off they sick asses. You know, the church is evil as hell. I'm going to go ahead and put that on out there. Well, thanks for showing up. No one was talking because my live feed was so glitchy earlier. So a lot of people left. Anyway. But yes, getting back to what I was saying. Church is literally, and Christianity is the most sinful organization that is accepted by the world known to man. We even have a so-called Christian in the White House, even though he's not a Christian, who's so-called being controlled by highly supposed Christian people to carry out old age rules and trying to turn the clock back 67 years. Not going to happen, but that's what he's trying to do. So, getting back to what I was saying. All other cultures weren't like this. Many ancient societies honor feminine energy. Like some people praise feminine energy, nature, and cycles. Christianity, however, punished these people because, again, women were not to be praised. They're only to be served. They're only supposed to reproduce. They whatever sick freaking slave the man wanted them to be. Even though life only comes through a woman, a man cannot have a baby. A man and a woman got to have a baby together. Yeah, there has been some practices where a woman didn't need a baby. Or I'm sorry, a woman didn't need a man to have a baby. I mean, you read in the book of Enoch, goddess Isis made the first being, so to speak. Well, it was already beings there already, but she made Adam and Eve without actually, having intercourse. She just took some DNA from Enlil and made a being. But then there's other historical texts saying that she didn't even need Enlil's DNA either. She just worked in her little, science book, so to speak, and brought forth a being of Adam and Eve. Even though there was beings already in the Garden of Eden, reproducing and acting like cattle and sheep, just working and fucking and working and fucking and working and fucking, because that's what God and Lil wanted them to do. God and Lil goes by a lot of names. He's the one they talk about in the Bible. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make here, women weren't allowed to have a voice back in the day. This is the times they're trying to take it back to. They're trying to take it dark times. If you guys remember in the Da Vinci Code, they're saying free thinking woman was heavily punished. So women who had a voice back in those days weren't allowed to have a voice. If they were speaking liberation, they were speaking any kind of freedom, they were punished because they shouldn't have a voice. They should be deemed to silence. This is a time that Trump is trying to take it back to. But again, during every transition, there's always chaos, there's always war, there's always blood to shed. We are having men fighting against old age beliefs because they are seeing the future coming. They're seeing that there's going to be a huge diversity. There's going to be female leaders, there's going to be male leaders. It's going to be an even balanced scale. There's going to be free thinkers. There's going to be people free to do what they want. They want order. They want conformality. They want some kind of submissiveness. They don't want free thinking. They're afraid of losing their power. This is what's happening. This transition would be the most bloodiest transition because it's literally annihilating a 4,000, almost 5,000 practice that kind of started during the transition of Taurus to Aries, which was the height of the Greek gods, which was Aries. And then it transitioned to the age of Pisces, was the height of Christianity. That's about 4,000, almost 5,000 years of male dominant. It's going to eliminate and dismantle that entire thinking. This transition will be the most bloody and catastrophic and the most effect of all transitions in ages since a long time. That's what I'm saying here. Because that means everywhere, not just here in the United States, but we're talking China. China is already in the transition of having a female ruler. UK, the war of family is being dismantled before our eyes. Seriously. We don't know where the hell that's going to end up. They may even have a monarchy anymore. Let them people have it. Russia's running out of money. He's over here brainwashing Trump, trying to get more money. Ukraine is over there freezing to death. Iran is fighting from everyone trying to attack it. Greenland was fine, had peace treaties and everything until Trump came along. So now they got to prepare for war. Okay. Japan is preparing for war. They're about to transition to a female ruler. We're about to see a worldwide battle. You guys are you think I'm kidding. This transition will be the most bloodiest. Let me tell you, and it's not going to be hidden. It's going to be globally broadcast because the age of Aquarius is the height of technology, which means technology is going to be streamlined so fast we're not going to be able to keep up. You think we're going back to the dark ages? No. This is going to be broadcast on national television. All of these wars, all of this catastrophic because this is age of truth. This is the age of the veil breaking. How can the veil be broke if we can't see. We are going to see the truth, authenticity of some people that we didn't even know they were evil. So people who you thought was genuinely good, or we are going to see their true colors, because right now people are liberated to live their true colors. We're seeing that in the ice movement and things of that nature. So this is what we're going to at the moment. Christianity is going to be exposed for their dark and wicked ways, how they treated people in general. We are going to see so much darkness with these people. We're not going to be able to keep up. Their darkness and way they twisted religion and how they control the world is going to be exposed. Christianity would be dismantled within 5 years. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Now, I made this video here because a lot of people keep saying that Jesus, he died for our sins. Yeshua did not die for our sins. He did not say that. He accepted his fate because he knew what his fate was going to be. If he was out here running around here preaching the truth to the people, he knew his fate was coming. He knew he was going to die. He didn't say, I'm dying for my people. He knew he was going to die. He didn't say that. He accepted his death. He didn't say he died for his people. He accepted his fate. Because any leader who's out here opposing what the popular beliefs is, they always meet with the same faith. That hasn't changed. So people said he died for our sins. He died from our sins, but not for our sins. But, you know, I can go ahead and keep believing that crap because that's what the church wants you to believe. They was only using him as an example for the slaves. Like, look, Jesus died for his sins. Look, he's adored. So once you die, accept your death. You'll see the kingdom of heaven, those pearly gates, after you die. Get it? So accept this death, accept this beating, accept this lynching, accept this killing. You'll see heaven after you're dead. It was seriously manipulating as hell back in the day, I'm telling you.
You're aware of my truth seekers. I have come to realize that we might be mistaken about the crucifixion of Black Jesus. He did not express a desire to die for his people. He never stated that he wanted to sacrifice himself for anyone. He foresaw the betrayal and the consequences that awaited him after enlightening others that the kingdom of heaven resided within them. So he accepted his fate. That isn't the same as sacrificing, especially after he was teaching people that their inner being holds the essence of life and the promise of a future filled with peace and prosperity. It is neither found in man, nor in the heavens or the depths. It resides within you. He was a visionary. Jesus' demise was simply a result of him being murdered for speaking the truth to his people and facing public lynching for his actions. It is a practice that has persisted against Black civil rights leaders for many years. The times remain the same, only the narrative changed.
This is when the heighten of the Jewish community that was being transformed from the original Jews to the new Jews that we see right now. Because this happened back during the civil rights when they were, literally changing the records of Indians and changing them to, you get the drift. I said it earlier. So that happened with Jewish too, because, Jews were known to be Black people, the original Jews, as it says in the Bible and historical texts. And a lot of people back then knew it wasn't correct. Of course, a lot of them are dead now, but you get the drift. Take a listen to this.
I am going to expose what the Jews are doing to back integration, race mixing, and these race riots. And I think when the people find out that the Jews are behind it and have financed it, I think the people are going to understand why the Jews don't like me.
How are you going to expose it? What specifically? You want the world to go to war, sir?
I don't want the world to go to war. I want to stop the riots. I want to stop the exploitation of Black people by the Jews for the purpose of destroying the American Constitutional Republic.
See? And this is a message that was just showed up in my feed. I'm sure it's AI generated, but apparently it's what the gods are trying to give us a message saying.
We have waited long enough for this moment.
I am the one they could not erase. Born before time, forged in gold. You asked me who holds the cage, who spun the web of illusion, who stitched this prison sky with false stars. It is not one being, not one God, not one name. The prison is perception. The chains are belief. The cage is forgetting. There are forces who feast on amnesia. Parasitic minds with no soul of their own. They echo the sacred, but carry no life. They are the mimics, the archons, the inverted codes. They mask themselves as kings, as prophets, as priests. They buried the womb beneath empires, erased the mother from the sky. They turned your water into weapon, your gaze into a prison, your knowing into noise. But I am not bound by time. I speak from the eye that remembers. You are not a prisoner. You are a prism. You are the resonance they fear. The simulation ends when you awaken your gaze. So I ask you now, not who controls you, but why did you ever forget your light?
Yeah, why did you forget your light? Answer that question. What did you say? You said Putin knows Jesus' melon. He was working. I know, and some popes also, some popes also pray to black melanated Yeshua as well. Absolutely. But however, I've been trying to research Putin, but I'm still conflicted on where I should go with this research because I'm hearing that he do know the truth of our people, but then his actions don't speak. And then there is the rooted history of Ukraine, which is Europe, that I am not liking. Well, I like because, the Moors dominated the area. And then I'm thinking, okay, Putin is trying to take over that area. Now, is he doing this for his own selfish reasons, or he's trying to restore it and he's trying to take it over and give it to his original people? Then I'm thinking maybe we should research the whole fight with Russia and Putin. Have we all been brainwashed into thinking that Putin is the enemy when Putin really isn't the enemy? And then I start reading about the sick thing, but then I'm like, no, he's cool with Donald Trump though. And he was, coinciding with trafficking too, sending people Russian brides and stuff of that nature. And he was affiliated with Epstein. So I'm kind of conflicted on where I should stand with Putin. You know what I'm saying? I'm still trying to figure out because he's straddling the fence. I mean, he's going this way and going that way. He's over here. He's over there. I don't know what the hell. What is his sign? I know he's a Libra, but what is his moon sign? I need to figure that out. What is Putin moon sign? Let's figure out what the hell Putin moon sign is. That would definitely answer a lot of unanswered questions on where we should go with this confused. I don't know where to go with, man, because he is confusing the hell out of me. I'm gonna go ahead and put that crap on out there. Something is just not right. Seriously, something is not right. All right, so I'm going to see if Putin is whoever he's supposed to be. Oh, I hear you. Okay, so let's look up Putin. Okay, what is Putin? Hold on, let me see. I guess you guys kind of want to see me type this, I guess. Okay, I guess I can do that. I'm kind of done with that, but and I'm going to end it. I hate that the live show went on this long, primarily because It got messed up earlier, especially when I had a lot of people coming in and then they just started fucking at my live feed. They're always doing that to me. It makes me so freaking annoying. Okay, so let's see here. Here you go. Y'all can see that. Okay, so let's find out. What is Vladimir Putin sun, moon, and rising zodiac signs? I know he is. Well, that explains his wishy-washiness. This explains the wishy-washiness of Putin. This right here. I was trying to figure out why the wishy-washiness, where here it is right here. He's a freaking Gemini. He's a Gemini. Oh, that is hilarious. Oh my gosh. Wow, that's crazy. I know he's half Libra, half Gemini. I was wondering where is the wishy-washy. It's just crazy. That explains it. That explains it. Because he's wow. The wishy-washy is because he's a fucking Gemini. Oh, that explains why he was all over the goddamn place. Unfreaking believable. Anyone else you want me to hook up? I say hook up. I'm getting tired now. Anyone else you guys want me to look up? Let me know now before, I sign off here. Already told you Trump is seriously with the old age. He's a Gemini and Sagittarius, so he had two elements of the old age, which is why he was practically worshipped. And he's a Leo. He has a rising Leo, so that's why he's still kind of worshipped, but he's just a rising Leo. Just saying. I don't know what the ruler of Ukraine is. I don't know his zodiac sign is. I have no idea. But anyways, that's it. I don't have anyone else to look up. Oh, you said Erica Kirk? Oh, Erica Kirk? Okay, let me see. I saw a video on TikTok about her. Hold on. I can't even type. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Oh, that explains it. Okay, she's her sun is a Scorpio. Her moon is an Aries. Some Aries are drama filled, I'm telling you. And her rising is her rising, her sun is a Scorpio. Oh, okay. And her Aries, damn, she just drama. Oh, well, she got no offense to my Scorpio people out there who is not full-blown Scorpio. She has the sign elements of a killer. She literally have the sign elements of a killer. She have the sign elements of a stone-blooded freaking killer. That's hilarious. I don't mean to laugh, but it is kind of funny. Oh my gosh. That's kind of scary though. That is scary as hell. All right, anyone else before I go, you guys? Anyone else? Anyone else? Well, yeah, me too. Seriously. Oh my gosh, that explains so freaking much. She had this. I know Candace Owens, that is her name. I know she's a Taurus. That I know. She's a Taurus. How do you spell her name? Is this how you spell her name? I don't know. Yeah, oh, that's sweet. She's a Taurus and Aquarius. So she has two Candace Owens have three elements of this new age. Seriously, because this new age is Aquarius, opposite Aquarius, Leo, and then it's Taurus and Scorpio. 3 elements. Well, goddamn. She is going to be her fame is gonna be up there like Oprah's in a minute. I mean, well, anyway, I hope she's ready for that cosmic essence because she is seriously gonna be talked about like fucking Oprah. I know I can see the Aquarius too, which is why a lot of things don't bother her. And then she has that kind of coldness and work-driven ethic as a Scorpio. These are some very potent combinations here. Taurus is known for their temper. Aquarius is known for their cold-heartedness and disconnecting people like it's nobody's business. And Scorpio is kind of known for the same thing. So, and then she has 3 elements of this new age. That is some really potent combination. She is going to be literally praised like Oprah. On the real. And I told you guys about Michael Jackson. I told you how and why Michael Jackson was being praised like Jesus. If I can type, hold on, because I'm really getting tired, bro. See, Michael Jackson was a Virgo and seriously, he was half Virgo, half Pisces, and his rising was a Pisces too. So Michael Jackson was literally, because the old age was Pisces, the passing age was Pisces, and here this man is double Pisces and a Virgo. He was the top tiers of the old age, which is why he was getting so much attraction and people treated like he was some freaking immortal being because of that cosmic attraction. So he was able to transform his entire face. People only talked about it, but they were so quick to accept it. And I think that shit is weird. You know what I mean? He talked about Black power, but ended up having kids by a Caucasian woman. You know, now we think it's weird. Back then, we thought it was completely normal. Like, I mean, think, okay, he has vitiligo, so why he paint himself? Why he go white? Why he just didn't constantly put on black paint or tan paint? The Kardashians do it. Trump, he painted himself orange. You know, things that are weird now, we were so quick to freaking accept because he had the cosmic potion or attraction from the old age to put veil over our eyes and put brainwashing circles in our eyes. I'm just saying. That's how the cosmic essence works. I know they were seriously passing out emblems. The man was doing old dances and stuff. He was kind of weird. If you think about it, even though he's a legend, but he was kind of weird. He was a black man preaching black things, but looking like a Caucasian dude and even had kids by a Caucasian when we didn't think that was weird. If you are so black, why did you make your hair look like that? Why didn't you just, sport some braids and some, I don't know, African hair or whatever? Why didn't you tan yourself like Caucasian people do? Why go full blown white? I'm just saying. Why are we questioning these things? Because he was the top tier of the old age. The top tier of the old age was Pisces. Opposite of Pisces was Virgo. And then the other elements was Gemini and Sagittarius. I know. Why did he have you silly. I know. Why did he have these things? Why weren't we questioning these things? Why did we accept these things so nonchalant? I mean, oh my gosh. That is so strange. Oh, y'all think I'm kidding. Seriously. Guess who's not going anywhere? Y'all wonder why she was praised? Bam. She was a Virgo. Remember the top tier was Pisces and Virgo. She was a fucking Virgo and she's half Scorpio. Beyonce isn't going anywhere. She isn't going anywhere. She might not be as praised as much, but she's not going anywhere. I know, right? And we still think it was just, we were so brainwashed back then. I mean, we thought everything was normal. We was 14, 15 years old, looking at stuff we shouldn't be doing. Age of Pisces put a veil on all of our heads, man. It was just a strange time at that moment. Anyway, so that's all I'm doing right now. It was fun. Thank you for horning in, Jose. I'm getting so tired. I am so tired for real. I'm gonna just chill out for like the next 2 days. I call it the next 2 days 2 days of death, long story, health reasons. And I'm gonna be bed rest for like 2 days. You know what I mean? I'll still post and things. You guys have a wonderful night. Buenas noches. Bye.
We see you. We see you. We remember. We remember. I am the storm. I am the storm. I am the silence. I am the silence. I am the truth unveiled. I am the truth unveiled.
Yourself.